Hey, so real quick, before we get into today's video, I want to remind you that every single plan for Bear, both the monthly and the annual plan, are currently half price. Just use the code FOUNDER, I'll put it right here, to get that half price discount. Please go subscribe down below to get that half price discount. This deal is only on until the end of the year, so go enjoy. Okay, now into the video. As a creative, we all have inspiration and people that inspire us to do better work, or just the work that we look up to, are always stimulated by, and people that have always kind of resonating with us and speaks to us in a certain creative way. And so I thought it would be fun and kind of interesting to talk about some of the people that inspire me, some photographers that I look up to, some that I've looked up to for many years, and generally speaking, why that is. This video will definitely speak to you if you're someone that likes my work or my style of photography, and therefore will probably like some of the people that I'm going to mention in today's video. Now, for simplicity's sake, I'm going to show each of these photographers' Instagram accounts, even though they all have amazing website portfolios as well. First is Samuel Elkins, or Sam Elkins. He is a photographer based out of LA, and I have been following Sam for over a decade now. In fact, he was probably the very first photographer that I followed on Instagram, and have always been so obsessed with him, his work, his eye, and just his overall aesthetic when it comes to photography. A couple things that really stand out when I look at his body of work on his Instagram page is, number one, the use of very subtle movement, and it feels like you're just immersed in the world of whatever person or thing that he is taking a picture of. Now, throughout the years, he does talk a lot more about his lifestyle and his landscape images, but genuinely speaking, I think his portrait work is some of the best portrait work that I've seen. It definitely leans more into a lifestyle portraiture body of work, which definitely resonates with me. I think Sam does an amazing job at getting real human emotion out of his models. They never look too posed or too staged, they just look like they are existing in the world around them. And then for a few years now, he's been shooting exclusively on Fuji, which you can really tell through the color science and the overall color theory of his images. The style of editing that I do today for most of my work is because of Sam. I've been looking up to Sam for many years now, and he has always been one of my favorite photographers. Next up is Jake Stangel, and he is from San Francisco. He's a photographer that I only discovered last year from my friend Adam, who actually showed me Jake's work, and I was immediately blown away. Right off the bat, you can tell that Jake is a master at shaping light, whether it is using artificial light outdoors, using natural harsh sunlight and shadows, or just framing and composing his images in a way where the light helps to tell the story just that much more. For me, his images fall into kind of two buckets. I love the fact that he can capture those real, raw human emotions that look like those in-between moments, but at the same time, craft poses and moments that look absolutely absurd in real life and a bit obscure, but in a picture, it just looks fascinating. Now, specifically the style of shots that I love from Jake are his outdoor shots that incorporate some sort of artificial light, whether it's a strobe or a speed light on camera. It really helps to give that outdoor scene a lot more of that immersive, high dynamic range kind of feeling. I think something else that stands out for me for Jake's work is the ability to shoot things that are seemingly very simple and obvious and mundane, but make them interesting. Next up is an OG in the swimwear portraiture space, and that is Cameron Hammond. I've been following Cameron for many years now, and he's probably my North Star when it comes to shooting females and shooting swimwear portraits. I think Cameron is an absolute master at 35mm film. I believe he only shoots 35mm, I could be wrong, but either way, most of his work is film work. And the way that he's able to craft the color combinations that he gets with the light that he's able to sculpt and shape the models and the surroundings with results in the most incredibly beautiful portraits. Whether it's really intimate tight frames that again have just the best lighting I've ever seen, or they're a lot wider portraits that show a lot more of the scene around the model, he has mastered every perspective and every angle when it comes to portraiture. I think for me, a lot of his images give off that kind of sensual, intimate, kind of couture vibe, and a lot of that comes down to his colors, his processing of the film itself, and just the way that, again, he's able to use light to his advantage. By a long shot, Cameron is one of my favorite photographers of all time. Next is Sam Dameshek, and Sam is somebody that I've been following for many years now, and I've always looked up to his work because of the rare intimacy and rare connection that he is able to have with his models. Whether he's shooting a model on location for a brand campaign, or he's shooting a celebrity behind the scenes at an award show, the connection you can feel between him, the camera, and the subject is uncanny. For me, some of Sam's best work are the ones where they're more playful and more candid as opposed to a bit less posed. I think having this rare connection with the people that you're shooting can just offer such a moment for the viewer that they otherwise would not be exposed to. And overall, I think a goal for a lot of this is, can I picture myself in the same room as that subject? Does that image make me feel that way? So besides the more obvious of him being a master at film, lighting, and coloring, I think the connection between him and his subjects is amazing. Alright, next up is Henrik Purienne. Now, Henrik is a South African-born photographer that now lives in LA, and you might have seen Purienne's work before because he has done some of the biggest commercial campaign shoots for a lot of well-known brands that you and I probably both love. And in my opinion, the unique thing that Purienne offers is a commercial level of storytelling, but done in a very old-school film nostalgic way. He doesn't care about perfect exposure, he doesn't care about perfect contrast or blacks or even composition at times, but the storytelling and the level of accidental perfection in his images is incredible. And what you'll notice when you look at his work is less is more. He's letting the model and the subject, or the space around the subject, tell the story. There's very rarely a lot of props or accessories. There's very rarely a busy background or scene at all. A lot of the shots are very minimal, kept very simple, and for a reason. Above all, though, I'm just obsessed with his film processing and coloring. I think he does an amazing job at shaping the dynamic range of the images, and you can really feel that feeling cohesively through his entire portfolio. Next is Brydie Mack, who goes by Wolf Cub on Instagram. She's another OG that I've been following for many years now, and I think that she and her style combines what I love about Sam with the connection that he has with his models, and somebody like Henrik Purienne that has amazing film processing, beautiful colors, and incredible light. Her images to me feel simple as an end result, but I know are incredibly intentional and thought out. In my opinion, she's a master at lighting and color combinations. She knows when to add more to a scene or when to strip away and have less, and she's not afraid to get both those really close, intimate frames as well as wider shots. For me, shots like this with a large sunset behind a model, where the model is just silhouetting in the actual sun falling onto the ocean or body of water behind her, just show the level of intention and care and technical expertise that somebody like Brydie is able to have when executing on a picture like this. And then last but not least on my list here is Lee Parry. Now, I've been following Jason for quite some time, and I've always loved his work a few years back with a brand called Lack of Color. Nonetheless, Jason's work really speaks to me, I think, because he's able to have his models pose and move and act in spaces that are just so immersive and so performative in the best of ways. He loves to use every inch of the model's body to accentuate the frame, whether it's expanding the model outwards and making them fill more of the composition, or just utilizing their body to create more shapes and lines. When you combine that intricate level of posing and connection with the photographer, with his amazing ability to just be really good at light and color with his film camera, you get an end result that is just so satisfying and so interesting to look at. So as you can tell, a lot of the photographers that I look up to are either lifestyle or portrait photographers. And that's pretty much because that's what I define my work as well. I'm constantly trying to evolve my look and my feeling in my portfolio, and it can act as a really nice reminder to sometimes go look at other people's work to be inspired and to think about how your portfolio is telling a cohesive story, both technically and visually. If you guys like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below and leave a comment on what you want to see more of on this channel. But until next time, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.